Hey, I don't know how to start this video. I just wanted to spill, talk about some truths that has come to my attention, to myself. This video you guys are watching is more so for me to figure out, like my mindset. Uh, if you guys want to comment, sure, feel free to. I like the comments. I'll take in feedback to a degree. I'm not gonna like absorb it all, but I'm gonna take it to a degree. Um, this conversation is something I kind of wish I had discussion with my best friend about, but the reason why I'm not doing that now, right away, etc., is because I feel. Oh, there's a lot of things I feel. And I feel, well, mainly I feel um, she has a lot more problems than I do. Uh, Not saying that, in a bad way. It's just more of like, in the past, I used to be more about me, my problems, and not really listen to her problems. So I've shutting up and not, said my problems to to a degree. Like, I'll say my problems, but I'll keep it minimal. I won't say anything like, and though it hasn't ever been to this extent for a minute now. Um, at the same time, I'm not saying she doesn't deserve to know this information. Um, but like I said, this video is mainly for me to review back on some years from now. Uh, Potentially my son or daughter, if I ever have one, or for my cousins, my nephews, nieces, etc. Um, so you guys can know how I am at 27. Or not how I am, but how I'm feeling at 27 with what just happened with me. So before I begin with that part of the video, rest in peace, George Floyd. Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. Rest in peace to anybody that has been brutally assaulted by police and on top of the police. So right now we're in the blues. Right now we're in a very strange time where we have the virus coming and we don't have a vaccine for it. We're not coming, but it's here. It's here. We don't have a vaccine for it, and you know, the more you go outside and interact, the higher the chances of somebody catching coronavirus, or let me not say it, catching the virus and dying from it. So that's the reality. That's one. Two, we are shown a lot more evidence and video and whatever you want to spin it, say it, pull it as, that black men, black women, black trans, black whomever, black whites, I don't know how you want to call it, are getting targeted a lot more by police, erasing footage, getting shot over for having a footage, uh, being accused wrong for X, Y, and Z reasons, forcing their way into things without warrants or proper laws, being engaged and making up their own laws just to come in here and harass somebody that's black or that's for black, but mainly black because this is Black Lives Matter. Not going to stem away from the problem itself. Um, this is not what this is video about. I'm just saying this now because whenever I do review this back, I know what time period this was in, and I want to give notice to those people that did lose their lives because, one, I do feel scared. I do feel scared stepping out these doors. Every time I step out these doors, I feel like someone's out to come get me, just for me just walking and just being around. Like, yeah, I have a huge backpack which is over there. I don't want to grab right now, but you guys usually see me around town in Binghamton. I have this huge tan backpack on me, and Not saying that's making me a walking target, but I also feel like that's part of me feel like a walking target. But I feel like whether I have that on or I'm just walking, I'm a walking target. And I'm just, I'm just like, yo, like I don't know what we could do. Like there are things I feel like that should be done before the time is being getting done. It's a lot of yappy yap and not actually like there's no speed behind it. It will take like a whole 3 weeks before a piece of your law gets passed, and that's not even like putting forth the real issue and fixing it. And I'm just like, I'd be glad to go to Africa or another country, Canada, whatever case may be. I don't have the funds for it. I do like America for what it could be, um, not the delusion that we were in. Uh, and I tell myself, I'm like, yo, I don't mind somebody being racist or hating on somebody's skin color or whatever the case may be, but my problem is when the action is put out forth. You take it upon yourself to then kill somebody or harm somebody or harass somebody, in this including into a sexual manner for men to women or women to men. It's fine to have that hate and to want to verbally address X, Y, and Z or remove yourself from the situation. It's a problem when you put action behind that and cause harm to other people. And the reason why I'm expressing this is because when people say they want to get rid of racism and etc. and whatnot, you can't have one without the other. So I agree, racism should end to an extent. I feel like this country should not be. There should be no pillars of racism in this country. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, if like I know my neighbor is right around the corner. And I'm very confident. I'm not gonna say 100% because I don't know for sure, but I'm very confident based on some things I have seen, whether it was a flag or a hat, etc., that he could potentially be racist. And the thing I like about what's going on now, or at least what I feel, I'm not saying it's gonna stay this way. I'm here. They're over there. That's it. I can do me, enjoy me over here. They can do them over there. That has nothing. Like, you don't have to come over here and act extra just because I'm here. Why does that offend you? If you're in front of me, that does not offend me. What offends me is you taking action and then yelling in my face that, oh, I should get the F out, etc. Da, 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 da. You're not my pops. Even though I never met my pops. You're not my pops. You're not my pops. You're not a family member. You can't yeah to my face like that. And same thing goes for police and whatnot. And I'm now on this wave. I'm saying now because part of me was like, yo, there are good cops, etc. But then it just gets harder and harder to keep saying that when you see more and more police around, and so when whether it's one, two, etc., police do one form of bad act, none of them are helping, like, to stop. And then the ones that we do hear about get fired, and it's like you get fired faster for doing something about it versus you not doing something about it, and then it takes like 2-3 weeks for thousands of people to give a signature off, and then you get fired, but then to potentially get hired back on with some other type of job description, etc. And it's like, what? That's a pillar we need to break. Call it familiar. It's not a car. I thought it was. Anyway, not what any of this is about. Not what this video is about. This video is about a phone call. I literally just had, I want to say about 20-30 minutes ago with my uncle. And after the conversation, I actually turned my phone off and I sat in my room in silence. Felt like crying, but I actually cried. On top of that, I heard gunshots, and I don't know where exactly these gunshots came from. I don't know. There were like fireworks, but then fireworks I would have heard something afterwards. All I just hear a boom, 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 boom. Not that actual sound effect, but you know what I mean. Um, no, I'm in like a suburb area, so it's very interesting for me to start hearing that with everything going on and etc. And it's like so. Um, the conversation that me and my uncle had is the conversation that me and my mother had, that conversation that everybody else in my family has. Now, the thing is, the only people I'm aware of so far that doesn't feel this way is my cousins. Primarily my younger cousins. My older three cousins, I don't know where their mind is to the degree of where my family mind is. And when I mean my family, I'm talking about my aunts, my uncles, and my mother. I'm not counting my stepdad in this equation because we don't really talk. Um, oh, this is gonna be a hard video. Not hard, but this is like I know I have to talk to my family about me. 27 years old. My uncle calls in a very form generic nutshell, and this is why it's annoying me because you called me just 2 days ago about the same thing for me to tell you the same thing in theory. My mother does the same thing every 2 weeks. When I go back to Rochester, my entire family individually asked me the same thing for me then repeat the same answers. And yes, I do give them a very generic answer because if I give you guys the real answer, now we're having a conversation I don't want to have that's going to make me either A, fully resent my family, fully. Part of me, there is a resentment, but fully resent my family. Or B, the very 1% chance that we might actually get somewhere, which I really don't see because I'm dealing with my mother and that side of the family is Jamaican, so they have their own like rules, regulations type. They have their own mental state when it comes to certain things, especially being an adult. And as a kid, growing up on the American side of things, mainly saying that going to American school, uh, hanging out with American friends, I guess you would call it that way. I didn't grow up in Jamaica. I grew up here, born here too. Um, my point of views are different from what I've seen versus what's been around me. Um, so, like I said, main conversation is how come do I have a driver's license? Do I have a car? Do I have a job? Where do I live? Those are the four main things that usually gets brought up in every conversation. This what happened in this conversation. Do I have a driver's license? No, I do not have a driver's license. Why do I not have a driver's license? The answer I tell them is I don't have money and I don't have the time. Real answer is I don't have the money. I don't have the time. Don't have the money because you tell me to save. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna save. But in the midst of me even saving $1, put two fingers up, $1, I'm also now supposed to get insurance, health insurance, medical insurance, etc. I'm also supposed to get a vehicle. I'm also supposed to now take this vehicle and always find a way to maintain and keep it, nice, shiny, clean to the degree to maintenance, so I can get from point A to point B anytime I want to. Then I also have to pay for gas. Then I also, obviously had to get my license for it. But I'm gonna do all these things as I'm saving, and I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to save if I also have to spend on things I don't want to spend on? So, how about I just save until I'm in a comfortable position until I have what any other YouTube video probably you would see go say, have X amount of money in savings in case of emergencies. So you can have 6 months of et cetera, in case something happens to the economy or happens to you or whatever the case may be. I am currently working on that. It's going to be a very long time to get to the stage because all I kept hearing was save, save, save. And I asked what to save for, and I don't get a response. And now I have a response through YouTube, not through anybody else. No friends, no family. YouTube told me to save for this reason. I did not get the answer for anybody else. It was A, get a job so you can buy whatever you want to buy. As soon as I got a job, save, because you need to save. You just need to save. And I was like, what? You just told me I could do. Boy. Okay, keep on going in the car. Anyway. So no, I don't have a driver's license, so obviously I don't have a car. Especially around this time, seeing what's been going on, again, black people are targeted more. So if I get a car, not only got to keep up the repairs, not only I got to pay for gas, not only I got to pay for insurance, I'm most likely going to end up paying for tickets that I'm sure are either A, I didn't deserve, B, I probably did deserve, or C, pay for something that has me end up going to jail because I have a car that I'm driving in. Not jail, but court, etc., whatever the case may be, which is now cuts my hours of the work, and I have to worry about other things that's not what I want to focus on. This is going to be a video about what I want to focus on versus what everybody else wants me to focus on. This is that video. So, why do all that? Why put myself in a stressful situation where I can de-stress myself and find another route to then afford everything else when I feel like I can afford everything else? So, third part, do I have a job? Yes, but this is going to be a long part. I have a job under the specific needs of what I want for a job. Prior to the job I had now, I used to work at shoe department. Used to work around 37 to 39 hours a week. So I was making pretty good. And I was working on $10.20 or 50 cents an hour. So I was making pretty decent profit. Cool. In my head, you could say, Dreas, you can take that money, get yourself a license, get yourself a car, etc., and you've been good. Right. You are very, 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 very right. But you know what happens when you get a license and you get a driver's license? You get a license and you get a car? You're now locked down to your car. You're locked down to the payments of the car on top of that. Let me not throw that out there. Or you could say loans. Oh, I forgot to also throw that out there. That's a 5. Am I going to school? So I'll get back to that in a second. But yeah, loans. So if I now take the money I was working at the shoe department and I bought myself a car, now I need a job, whether it's shoe department or like shoe department with the same amount of hours in order for me to maintain this car. Now you're telling me I'm personally draining myself for a job I do not like to ride a car that's costing me more money that I may not want during the time you think I need it, all because you want me to come down to Rochester anytime I quote unquote feel like it. I can just take the Greyhound. We can take the Greyhound, and I'm sorry if there's like an audio separation between video and this. I'm aware of it. It's something I can't really fix right now, as far as I know. I'm gonna try in the future. I'm just telling my truth here. So there's that, and I'm sure everybody that's probably viewing this up to this point will agree with me for everything I just said. It's not like I'm not trying to be more of a man about my situation. It's just I know that my situation requires sacrifices, and in order for those sacrifices, I'm taking L's in very, very different areas that most people won't even accumulate. You can say transportation is a sacrifice. Okay, cool. Blah, 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 blah. I'm now looking at viewpoints of family, of how my status is when it comes to my job and me having a license. I'm also looking at it from a view. I have to also look at it from a viewpoint of, nah, I don't have to, but the status of how others view me when it comes to, oh, you don't have a car, you don't have a quote unquote da 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 da, da license or whatever case may be. So now my stature is lower. So then now if I try to put myself out there for a date, I look less. Family, I look less. For dating, I look less. For you guys, you may see me as less. We're gonna keep this rolling. So yeah, right now I'm a janitor at an elementary school, and I work about 25 hours a week. Why is this perfect for me? One, I didn't expect me to be a janitor. That's one thing out of the equation. Um, I was cool with the idea. Sorry for cracking my legs. I was cool with the idea. Um, I took it, tried it out for a couple of days. I'm like, this ain't bad. I'm here by myself at the school. Like, so I work at nights. Nobody's around to bother me. I got clean for a couple hours, and I leave. And the best part about it is I get to work on everything else I want to work on. What are the things that I want to work on? Photography, DJing, dancing, and being an artist. And how is that going? I feel great. I feel like the mixtape that I just dropped does reach over 1,000 people, and I feel great about that. The DJing, I still get people asking me, how's my DJing going? That feels great. I feel like people are giving me recognition as a DJ. Same thing for me as a dancer. Whether I got the views or not, sometimes it's 100, sometimes it's 600. Like, the fact that people look at me and they say, that's that dancer, that's that DJ, that's that photographer, and that's that artist, that feels great to me. For others that don't understand or look at that as less, there is a sense of, like, let me put it this way before I even continue. My family wants better for me. My friends wants better for me. I completely understand and I completely accept that. If you want better from me, this is very simple. If you want better from me, support. 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 That's it. That's it. Whether you listen, that's supporting. Whether you put in some money, that's support. Whether you share, that's support. 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 Not saying my family has. Let me throw that out there too. Not saying my family has support to some degree. My mom has bought some of my merch before. Uh, she has hired me. My aunt has hired me for a DJ. In theory, didn't really hire me as a photographer, but in theory, did hire me for DJing photography at least once. And my uncle does kind of want to push me into, if you really want to be that DJ, here's that push. The problem with me is my main goal is to be also ultimate performer. Not saying that those are gonna make that happen, but I'm more in the mindset of I am a business. I am not somebody else's, business. I'm not like I'm my own entity. I'm not going to be a freelancer and then end up shooting for Nike or Adidas or etc. Case it be, or Complex, that type of thing. Like, I don't want to be underneath. Yeah, I'm still kind of thinking about that as I keep traveling along, because who knows, the deal might be nice and I might end up taking it. But in the current state of mindset, my goal is to be a performer, and with all the things I'm doing, if I were to take everything I'm doing and get it into the average bubble of how much the average will make, quit my job, maximize on those hours, I will live phenomenal off that money. But what happens when you pursue that type of goal? It takes time. takes time. It takes time. I don't know how many times I or anybody else has realized this. My family feel as though by a certain age I should have X, Y, and Z. No, you were X, Y, Z age when you had graduated from college. It took you time. Oh my God. Yo. I just can't. I want to make sure I'm on. I was on my point three about a job. So yes, they want me to come back to Rochester and work for my uncle, and they asked me, or he had asked me if I'm willing to wanted to do that. And the answer is no. Yes, the pay is better. Yes, I could get to, in theory, what I want to get to faster, which is moving to the city. The downside is it's going to take away the time that I want to put into for myself. And just, on top of that, I am twitching too. I'm hoping that twitching can help me take off a bit more. Kind of like podcast gaming at the same time. I don't know how that's like. It seems to be working. I have a follower every single time I hop on it, and I'm having people comment, like random people comment, like, "Yo, you like this game? Da da da. How you feel about it? Oh, this is how I feel. Da da da." Like, I am getting, I'm getting, I'm getting there. I'm getting places. Whoo, getting heated at the same time of all this. Even though it's starting to get hot in my room because I turned off the fan. Oh well. So, with that being said, yeah, no, I'm good. I don't want to be Rochester because of the fact of how I feel when it comes to my family. If I go over there and I try to do me, it's not going to happen. It's not. I've been with my family for 18 years. Me doing me is very hard to even get. The only way I can be do me is if nobody's around the house. If I start blasting music, if I put headphones on music, Dre said, your music too loud, you can't hear me when I'm trying to talk to you. And it's like I'm trying to be in my creative process, etc. So, when it comes to my living arrangements, like, okay, so I know I had two more steps. I'm adding another one in. It was student loans, or student loans, college, and I can't remember the other one. I'll top of my head. I'm sure it'll get to me in a second. But living arrangements, yeah. So I'm here in this house room. Do I pay rent? Honest answer, or let's just say the answer I told them from time to time is yes. Sometimes I tell them no, and then they ask me how you paying rent, and the honest answer, and this is the honest answer, and I have told them this honest answer. I have a deal with my landlord, and that deal with my landlord is to help him in his businesses. And what are the businesses X, Y, Z? Well, it could differ between helping out with daycare, helping out with one of my housemates, modeling her makeup, her clothing, whether it's using my skill set to make that into a business and they get a split because they're actually involved and I live in this quote unquote household that they're allowing me to have this creative process for. However you want to perceive and or look at it as. That's how it's working. I'm fine with this. I don't. This is the thing I don't get. I'm fine with this. This is not like me having a mental problem or I need to seek help because I'm not following in line and by a certain age I should have been had this and that, the third X, Y, and Z. No, I'm fine with this. I don't know if I can say X, Y, and Z things on YouTube, but I had people in my bedroom. Or I should say women. I had women in my bedroom. If you want to be real, I've made money if I wasn't on this spending habit trying to figure out life thing. I just save X, Y, and Z money and not try to cater to my personal needs as heavy as I've been for the last couple of years to a degree. Because then the majority of the time, my personal needs end up turning to a business need. And even a business need is not like a need; it's more of a want that then turns to potential better profits in the future, and it has happened. They're just not into a very large quantity that I thought was going to come to be, but it has happened, and yeah, I'm fine here. Um, when I say I'm fine here, I'm fine, but not happy, but I understand what this means to me. This bubble I'm in, this household, etc., to me, is my story of struggle. I'm not. I don't want to struggle through the stress. Like, yes, there's times in this household I go, you know what? I want to move. I want to do this. I want to do that, etc. Da da da. But at the end of the day, I just go in my head, Trace. If you want to go out, you gotta take. I will grab the microphone, but it's attached to stuff, and I don't want to knock over. But take the microphone, take the DJ board, take the camera, and get to work and push yourself out there. Make the content. Let them know that you're out here. Make it, improve, and that's where I felt like crying earlier before this video even started. Is because I felt my family wants me to do better. I felt the people that I live with want me to do better. I felt my friends want me to do better. And I felt like because it's me wanting to do better, I felt weight on. I have an obligation to meet their needs and wants. And I feel like I'm also responsible for everything. Or at least majority of stuff. I'm responsible to prove to people that dreams can come true. That's really what I feel. That's how I legit feel. If I fail, there's a lot of inner talking that's going to happen. And I'm not saying like, like to me, like, I fail. Whoop-de-doo. But like, I don't want to make that failure to be like, I didn't try and then failed. Like, I don't want to feel like right now I'm like, you know what, I heard that conversation from my uncle and I give up. Like, I don't want that. I kept on trying. I'm still trying. I'm 60 years old, potentially, probably, who knows. I'm still trying. And by the time I'm dead, that's my definitive fail or not. Like, that's where my mind goes. But like at the same time with the pressure, I feel like I'm also in the time bubble, and I've been trying for the last couple of weeks to not put myself in that time bubble. Ever since that mixtape dropped, I felt, try to put myself out there, get more connected with people, just talk with people, and then spend more time on the concentration of talking to people, not hanging out. Concentration on talking to people. Like, yes, hanging out from here and there, but not hanging out to the degree of I'm going to a party and I'm spending X amount of money. Or da-da-da-da. Like, if I'm hanging out with a friend for a few hours that doesn't involve money or doesn't involve me having to deter from my mindset, that's cool. That's fine with me. I could take 2 hours, 3 hours and go, yeah. And then come back later on that night or the next day and go right back to the grind. Like, having that balance to me, yes, it's important. It's something I didn't have in the past because I was very, let's get something out, because I have a lot to put forward to help others. And I feel like this mixtape, this process, everything I'm doing, the things I'm looking back on, I see the growth and I see the potential happening. Like TikTok, I'm almost at 1,000 followers. 1,000 followers. If I didn't, TikTok would hands down be the first social media that I reached 1,000 followers just by posting. Instagram, I had to find a additional way to get up to the 2,000 followers I had, so roughly around 800 people that I had in the past. Same thing for Facebook. I had to go through additional work, putting myself out there for a like that for people that don't really care about my content or even pages want to like, for that to be like, if we're talking about realistic numbers, I'll probably still be like 200 to 300 likes on that page versus 1,800 I have. Like, TikTok will be the first, and to me that's a goal. Like, I'm literally right there with it. It's there. It's a start to me. It's showing that I am going to get to where I want to get to through time and patience. Shout out to Gary Vee for this motivation. I'm actually going to try to see if I can talk to him this upcoming Tuesday on his show. Think I have time? I have somewhat time. I should, as long as I wake up right when he starts, and I have 30 minutes to kind of get that talk in beforehand. I mean, I can also, that's another thing I love about my job. I can be late for work if I want to, as long as I make it the hour, not even the hours, as long as I do what needs to be done at my job, and that's it. I don't have to worry about, like, usually my time is, let's hypothetically say 5 to 9, right? I can come in at 7. As long as the entire school is clean by 9, or technically by 10, I'm Gucci. I don't, like, I have the flexibility. So then now when I have to meet clients and they want to come late, I still can get the shoots in, or I can still finish up the small task I needed to do beforehand, and not feeling like I have to, like, really be there on time. It hurts me more than it hurts the school at that point, because then now just more so, if I don't show up for that hour or two, I lose $20 to $30 based on how much I make on from minimum wage at this point, which is $11.10. So yeah. Oh, am I going back to college? No, I am not. I told them I don't know. In the past, I also have said no. Before that, I said yes, I will go back to college. But yeah, my real answer is no. I'm not going back to college. Why? Because I have a little bit over $30,000 in student loan debt. During the time, they wanted me to, in theory, pay for my classes if I'm going to continue. And that's why I ended up starting working at shoe department, because I was supposed to take that money and then actually go back to school with it. I just felt that in the past, when I did go to school and do a job at the same time, I couldn't do both. So why repeat that process again? So I just didn't go back to school. I decided to stack money, or not stack money, but work. And ever since I've been working and educating my own self, I feel that I don't need school at this point. For me wanting to create my own entity, I don't want to go to school to seek a job. I want to fund myself. I know that's going to come with a lot of headaches, taxes wise, etc. Managing people, employees, materials, expenses. Sorry. But I think I got it. I think I could get it. I'm at a point where I have a DBA for my DJ name. I have the posters or flyers that I'm supposed to hang up from when I have employees to let them know, like, this is a minimum wage and these are the policies. Like, verified on Spotify and Instagram. No, not Instagram. Spotify and Apple Music. I'm trying, not Instagram yet. I have majority of my pages. I have full access to my status, full access to the amount of money coming in. I have myself across all social media accounts. I have a fan base to a degree. Some they may not consider like 20 to like 50 people a fan base, but it's a fan base. Excuse me. Like core, die-hard fans, but they're fans of what I do, whether it's multiple or a single. I have a fan base. It's very stressful to repeat these things, and I know that with what's going on now, and even just that conversation, it's going to be hard for me to really want to go back to Rochester, even though I go there once a year. This is why I go once a year. Conversations like this, talks like this, is why I go back once a year. I have so much things to do. Like, I'm not saying I have so much things to do here, but even with work, I don't necessarily have mental time. I'm gonna call it that. I don't have the mental time to just like, all right, if I have a week off of work, let me go to Rochester. No, because then my mind goes, you know what? Since I have a week off of work, let me book shoots so I can get paid. Let me book shoots so I can have content to put out there. let me DJ a bit more so I have something out there to throw to the public. Like, or let me create more lyrics so I can have more of a streaming income coming in. I'm being nosy. I know. Here's the little X1Z. So then, yeah, that's just it. That's it. I don't know what else more to say. I don't. I feel better getting this off and putting this out here on this on video. Um, but I know this doesn't end here. This actually ends with the conversation that whatever me and my family have. But I always feel like it's gonna happen. The result is gonna be we're just never gonna talk again. My family says they're willing to help me, etc. and whatnot, well, whatever I have. But then now it just comes down to if I accept that, I, in theory, I can't argue with whatever they say. If they give me money, they are now in control of my pockets. If I don't accept their money, they are not in control of my pockets. So however I move is however I move. Once they give me something, I more so have to kind of play their book. And that's something I also learned by Gary Vee. And because I realized that, I was like, you know what? I pay for my own phone bill. That was a very huge step for me. I was like, why pay for my own phone bill? My mother has it paid for the bill and and I can just use the money for something else, not directly for that. Nope, I pay for my own phone bill. I got my own phone. Everything else in this area of mine, I purchased on my own to get me to where I want to get to. I pay for the microphone. I pay for the software. I pay for the laptop. I pay for the speakers. I pay for the board. Actually, well, I pay half for the speakers. Let me put that out there. My best friend helped me up with the speakers, so I pay half for the speakers. I pay for the board. What else that I pay for? The camera. My best friend helped me out with that. At first, I paid it for myself, I believe, or she put on half. I can't remember which one, either or. Then the second time around, she actually helped me purchase the camera. So, other than that, everything else, like I said, I did it. Me, team, me, friends. And if I didn't spend none of this money, by now I definitely could have moved to the city without having to have a job. I can definitely agree. That I can agree with. If I have taken the 6 years and not spend a dime on anything that has nothing to do with anything, unless it was food or spending it on student loans, either A, I would have had the money now to move to the city for at least about a year or two without having to worry about expenses. And I'm not saying like the best place, but like something very, very cheap, about like $1,000, and that's just borderline. Or at least my loans been paid off. That's another. I also been putting in money in investment, so I have money in investment. But like I told my uncle, because of the virus, I had to actually take money out of that account, which hindered me. So now I have to go back into rebuilding that portion of that money. Because in theory, that was my savings, even though I shouldn't really use that savings. That was my savings. Because I was making, when I had at least around 900, I'm not going to say all my money, but when I did have 900 in it, I had a plus extra 200 because of the investment I had. So, yeah. Then I had, a bit more money on top of that, and etc. And yeah, like I said, COVID hit. I wasn't prepared. That's responsibility. I'm taking responsibility. Everything I just mentioned, I'm taking responsibility for. I'm not blaming or putting blame on anybody else. That responsibility of how I feel burdened and pressure from other people. I took that responsibility. They didn't ask me to take that for them. I took it upon myself because I didn't want somebody else carrying that type of burden on their shoulders. And for me to be acting the way I was acting about, like, this gotta be done, this gotta be done, this gotta be done. It's like, you know what? Enjoy your time. I'm gonna take that and fight, and I want to shadow box until I can get better. That's how I felt. Thank you guys for listening to this truth of mine. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna be that person. No. Y'all want to, y'all can. I'm not gonna be that person that goes subscribe and like and etc. I'm gonna try to make more videos, whether it's similar to this, whether it's not, who knows. But I'm gonna do my best. Till next time. Peace.